Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And that's what I want to speak about this evening. Chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam, Kalo, Nastreva, Gatiranyata. In this Kali Yuga, there is no other way for achieving the supreme goal but chanting the name of Hari. Harinam. Kali Kale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar Nam Hoite Hoi Sarva Jagata Nista. In Kali Yuga, Krishna has taken avatar. He has descended in the form of his name, and by chanting the name, the whole universe can be delivered. Kali Kale Nama Binu Nahi Ara Dharma Sarva Shastra Saranam Sarva Mantra Saranam E Shastra Marma. In the age of Kali, there is no other dharma but chanting the holy names of Krishna. That this is the essence of all mantras, is the essential teaching of all the scriptures. Krishna mantra hoite hobe shangshamo chan. Krishna nam hoite pabe Krishna charan. By chanting the Krishna mantra, one can achieve, or one is delivered from material life. By chanting the name of Krishna, one attains the lotus feet of Krishna. So there are many considerations in chanting Hare Krishna. The process is very simple, isn't it? It's very simple to chant Hare Krishna. If we ask you to stand on your head, go to the Himalayas and stand on your head for 50 years, we won't be able to do it. If we ask that you sit quietly and meditate, keep the mind still, we can't do it for 5 seconds even. Still there are, even though the process is very easy, there are some important points to understand and some practical considerations also. The most important thing is the attitude in chanting. We should understand what this means. So Krishna, the name has millions of meanings because Krishna is everything. But the essential meaning of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is praying, O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your service. So the essential technique is to chant prayerfully. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has expressed the mood in which we should chant. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitang mang vishame bhavam buddhau kripaya tava pada pankaja sthita dhuli sadrisham vichinte. He prays that, O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, but somehow or other I have fallen into this terrible ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this situation and consider me like a particle of dust at your lotus feet. Chanting should be offenseless. There are 10 offenses against the holy name. And these offenses mostly arise from not properly understanding our position as Krishna's eternal servants. So I'm not going to elaborate on the 10 offenses just now. But the point is that we have to hear about Krishna and understand his supreme position. If we don't have this understanding, then we're going to have a misunderstanding and our chanting will not be pure. So hearing about Krishna and chanting about Krishna, these two go together. They are essential and completely interdependent. So if we are fully in a prayerful mood and free from all offenses, that is the perfection of chanting. Unfortunately, Durdaiva mijis idrishami hajani nanuragaha, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prays. Unfortunately, due to my previous sinful activities, I don't have a natural taste for chanting the sweet holy names of Krishna. Therefore, we have to take up the sadhana of chanting the holy names in a regulated manner. And there are various techniques that sadhakas or persons who are attempting to become pure, they can take up to improve their chanting. Would you like to come in, squash in, thanks to the unseasonal rain. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Hare. Yeah, you please come this side, this space, I hope. Maybe someone can sit here. Or if it gets too bad, you'll go and sit inside. There's more space here. Please come. That's probably why less people came this evening also. Because of the rain. Alright. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Here. Good one, two. Okay. Alright, sorry for the inconvenience. It's beyond our control. Just goes to show, Krishna's in control. We're not in control. So, the first consideration is that we should try to chant the holy names attentively. I just said that if we have to meditate, we find it very difficult to fix the mind even for 5 seconds. So we might find a similar difficulty when we're chanting Japa, the names of Krishna. So we have to endeavor to chant with attention. Otherwise it can become mechanical. We have to repeatedly chant Hare Krishna over and over again. If we are spiritually pure and we have taste, then automatically the holy name continuously rolls off the tongue. But if we don't have taste, then we have to do it practically in a mechanical manner. We have to take a vow, chant minimum 16 rounds. But we should come off the mechanical platform. So the first thing is to try to chant attentively. The mind will tend to wander here and there. But we have to try to bring the mind back to hear that sound. If we're chanting attentively, then that should be clear chanting also. Sometimes we hear, we'll wait another 2-3 minutes or 5 minutes, and if it continues, we'll go inside. The rain continues. So, if we're chanting attentively, then we will chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. If we're not attentive, we might chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, something like that. Or it might not be so bad, but we might just leave out one syllable, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, something like that. So, chanting should be clear. If we chant Hare Krishna, we go to Krishna. And if we chant Hare, I don't know where we're going to go. Not to Krishna. If we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna will hear. He will like, oh, someone's chanting my name. But if we chant something else, then why will Krishna be pleased with that? So then, when to chant? One other point I should make actually that's connected with that. Yeah, we may sometimes leave out a whole word. Sometimes devotees chant, they're chanting clearly, but they chant Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. They miss out one whole word. They're not aware that they're doing it, which means they're not really chanting very attentively. So at what time of day should we chant? What's the answer? Huh? All day, all night. But because we don't have taste, so we should chant at least 16 rounds a day. At least those who are taking our Purushadhamsa serious. And Brahma Muhurta is the best time to chant. That means approximately we can say the period before dawn. That may not be possible for everyone due to various reasons. Try to chant early as much as possible, but it's not a sin if you don't chant all your rounds early in the morning. Srila Prabhupada related that in his householder life he used to stagger his rounds throughout the day. He had a rule for himself that he had to chant at least 4 rounds before breakfast. Otherwise he had a rule, he can't take any breakfast without chanting at least 4 rounds. Then no lunch if he didn't chant another 4 rounds. No dinner at night unless he chanted another 4 rounds. And no sleeping at night until he finished the last 4 rounds. So some devotees, they make the vow that they won't eat anything before they chant at least 16 rounds. So it's good to give oneself some rule like that. Because as we generally tend to be more attached to eating and to chanting, so such a rule may give us some more inspiration to chant. Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtan Ei Matro Chai Shangsha Jinite Ar Kono Bostu Nai. This Jagadananda Pandit says that the association of devotees and Krishna Nam, this is all I want. There's nothing else for conquering over material existence. Now, chanting in association with devotees can be very helpful also, because everything done in association with devotees is helpful for our spiritual life. Of course, this might sound hypocritical because I usually chant my rounds alone. There are various advantages for chanting in association with devotees. One is that if there's a tendency for sleep, then devotees will wake us up. We cannot always sleep also. One thing is that, actually I prefer to chant alone because my voice is a little weak, not very loud, and I can't hear actually. I chanted very well if there's so many other people chanting, so that's another consideration. In Shastra, it's recommended to sit while chanting. Sitting before Tulasi especially is recommended. Or while you can sit around Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Sangha, you see devotees considering Vyasa Sangha. However, standing or walking is not forbidden. The main thing is to chant, not to sit. Sitting doesn't help us advance in spirituality. Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, they all, maybe not all the time, but definitely they used to sometimes walk while chanting. In walking there may be some distraction, things we see. So if we're sitting, then we can focus just looking at Tulasi, Prabhupada. So if we're walking, then it shouldn't be sightseeing, but walking and concentrating on the sound of the name of Krishna. How loud should we chant? Well, there are 3 levels of chanting. One is manasic, within the mind. This is not much recommended in the modern age for chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. There's Also, just pronouncing Nangshu and should we move inside? Okay, let's go.
It is slippery also, steps.
That's another reason why we shouldn't go fast tomorrow, because the roads will be wet.
Yeah.
So the moderate speed. Actually, Kinchan Krishna Prabhu's suggestion was to go by train, because in many ways it's better than the car. It's less dangerous, less jerky. That road is... Yeah, or we can chant, the third level of chanting is chanting loudly. So, generally if we chant somewhat loudly, that also helps us to fix the attention on the mind. Fix the attention of the mind, sorry. But if it's very loud, it may disturb others chanting also, so that's also a consideration. Anyway, somehow or other we should try to fix our attention on the holy name of Krishna. How fast should we chant? Devotees often ask this question. Well, in one sense it doesn't really matter. If we're chanting the holy name of Krishna and hearing the name of Krishna, that's what's important. On the other hand, if we are chanting attentively and clearly, then it shouldn't take us 25 minutes to chant one round. We hear, just like we hear Srila Prabhupada's Japa chanting, it's quite intense, it's not slow. So, if we chant very slowly, Hare Krishna, it'll take us all day just to chant. So we do have other services to perform. On an average speed, if we're chanting at a moderate pace with attention, then 6 to 7 minutes, maybe 8 minutes for one round. If it's a little less or a little more, I mean, it's not a crime. What's that? It's some machine. How did that come all of a sudden? What's that? Someone's cell phone? They have the Prabhupada Japa on that? Is it? How did that come?
He could switch on.
He switched on the...
Accident.
While switching on this mic, he switched on the Japa machine also.
Oh, the Japa machine. Now you can have... You see, you can have Japa by machine also. No need to grind the spices, you can do it in the mixie. No need to walk to the store, you can go on a motorbike. No need to chant Japa, you can just turn on a machine. No. You have to chant your own round. You can't tell someone, look, I'm very busy, I'll pay you 50 rupees, you chant my rounds for me. We have to chant for ourselves. So, if we're chanting like 12, 15 minutes one round, it probably means that we're not chanting very attentively. And if we're chanting less than 5 minutes a round, then probably we're chanting too quickly. Or we might be, as I was saying, we might be leaving out some syllables. I mean, one quicker way to chant is just to chant Hare Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I mean, it would be a lot quicker, but then we're not chanting properly. On another point, sometimes devotees, they add extra syllables also. They'll chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare, something like this. That's also not correct. Sometimes devotees, it seems they may be skipping over their beads. That means when we're chanting, we're supposed to move one bead every time we chant the Mahamantra. But it might be that without even knowing it, we move the beads quicker than we're chanting. And especially if our beads are very small, there's a danger of moving 2 beads instead of 1. I noticed once myself that I seem to be chanting my rounds very quickly. Well, how is that? Because I'm just chanting at a moderate speed, but my mala is coming out less than 5 minutes, so how is that possible? So I made a recording of myself chanting, and I went back afterwards and played it back and counted. And I was chanting less than 108 per round. Yes, I admit I was doing that, exactly that. I confess my sins. Dear God, please forgive me. Krishna is very forgiving, no doubt. But we should try to chant properly, in all respect. So, I didn't do that recently. I mean, that was quite a long time ago I did that, but I hope I've corrected that. Now maybe I should do it again. We should all do it, actually. How many rounds should we chant? Well, those who are initiated, they should chant minimum 16 rounds. That's the vow that we take. We can chant more rounds also. For people living in the modern world, it's there's so many activities to do that they may find it difficult to squeeze in even 16 rounds. And even our full-time devotees, they may find it difficult because there's so much service to do. People are going to hell. It's like a full blast journey to hell for everyone. So devotees are working very hard to try to get people to chant Hare Krishna. And they won't go to hell, they'll go to Krishna. But in our working hard to get people to chant Hare Krishna, we should not neglect ourselves to chant Hare Krishna. We shouldn't neglect ourselves. So chanting extra, that's nice whenever we get the opportunity. Srila Prabhupada suggested that at least on Ekadashi we can chant 25 rounds. But even for Ekadashi, he said that devotees who are busy in preaching, they can chant 16 rounds and go out. Anyway, the point isn't that we shouldn't think that now I've chanted 16 rounds, finished. Great, that's over for another. Don't have to do it till the next day. But we should try to develop attraction for the holy names. Those who are older and are retired and have extra time, especially, they should do Nam Bhajan, more chanting. Of course, you can preach also. Srila Prabhupada set that example of working very hard for preaching even in old age. But we should always keep a balance, that not that we're doing so much sadhana that there's no preaching, and not that so much preaching that there's no sadhana. Jayapataka Swami once told me that when he was president at ISKCON Calcutta, he told Srila Prabhupada that he was chanting 32 rounds daily. And he thought Prabhupada would be very pleased with that. Prabhupada told him, you should chant 16 rounds and go out and preach. Chanting, as far as possible, should be done in a peaceful atmosphere, devotional atmosphere. That means you can come to the temple or in your home, some nice pictures of Krishna. Sometimes, out of necessity, we may have to chant on some bus or train or something like that. I've personally probably chanted thousands of rounds on trains, especially because I spent so much of my life utilizing the Indian railway system. But that's sometimes we have to do because we happen to be on a train when we're chanting time. But that we shouldn't make that a regular practice. In other words, if we have to travel, say, half an hour by bus every day, then if we don't have any other time, then we could chant some rounds regularly at that time. But it's not the best alternative. Considering that chanting Hare Krishna is the most important thing we have to do every day, then we should try and do it in the best way possible. There's one anthology of Srila Prabhupada's writings about the holy name and chanting. It's published in English. It's called Sri Namamrita. Those who know English, they can read a little extract from this every day. And it's good. It's instructive and inspirational for chanting the holy name. Of course, we should read all of Srila Prabhupada's books also. This hearing, chanting, reading, serving, remembering, all these things should go on together. So there briefly are some considerations about the practicalities of chanting the holy names. These points could be discussed in great detail. I mean, we could have had a 7-day seminar covering covering the points that I just made. But there in essence are some important considerations in chanting the holy name. And I hope we can all implement these in our lives. And in this way chant Hare Krishna and actually be happy. Because really there is no happiness in this world but the holy name of Krishna. Nambina kichu nahi kawara chodha bhuvana majja. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, there's nothing but the holy name in the 14 worlds. You're all very fortunate to have received this gift of the holy name. So let us take it very seriously and chant Hare Krishna and go to Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Any question?
What is the position? Who are not chanting?
What is?
What is the position? Who are not chanting?
What is the position of those who are not chanting? Not very good. Once Srila Prabhupada was interviewed on a television program in England, and the interviewer asked Srila Prabhupada, so according to you, people who do not take to Krishna consciousness, they all become cats and dogs in their next life. Is that right? And Prabhupada said yes. And then they stopped the interview. But people are so fallen nowadays that if you tell them that you'll become a cat and a dog, they'll say, oh, very nice, which breed? I'd like to be pedigree. So please chant Hare Krishna. Anything else?
In the class timing, some
Yeah.
viewers.
Say it in English and then in Tamil.
In the class timing, some viewers doing chanting.
During the class. Say it in Tamil.
Bhagavad-Gita hopeல வந்து சில பக்தர்கள் வந்து chanting பண்ண நான் பார்த்திருக்கேன்.
No, at that time we should hear. We can't we can't hear the holy names and hear the instructions of Bhagavad Gita at the same time. Anything else?
Kali Yuga is we are in Kali Yuga already for 5,000 years, and why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started the Sankirtan after 4,500 years? Means he started it late. The Sankirtan movement.
Why? Is that the question?
Yes. Why was it started late? Already 4,500 years was passed.
Well, we're all late, aren't we? And why have you only come to Krishna consciousness now? Krishna consciousness is not always available in human society. Actually, Vaishnavism was going on, but not in the same strong way as after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Well, that's the meaning of causeless mercy. That actually in Kali Yuga, people they have no interest in this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to deliver them. If you want to blame him for that, then that's your bad fortune. Now, people are suffering from starvation, and then someone comes and brings them food and say, why didn't you come earlier? Why are we in this material world anyway? That we should ask. Why are we envious of Krishna? Well, Krishna doesn't come and massage my feet. What's wrong with him? We want to blame Krishna in this way. Any more questions connected with the class? Yes, Vasudev Datta Das. You want to speak the question in English and Tamil? Show off your Tamil.
English. Hare Krishna. Guru Maharaj, how can my chanting, I noticed that sometimes from all 16 rounds, maybe few moments are more personal with Krishna, like some relationship with Krishna, and then maybe just for few beats or for half a round. So my question is, how can this more personal chanting be developed? why cannot we order?
Tamil, Sule. We have to pray to Krishna. We're praying to Krishna, and Krishna may reveal himself to a greater or lesser extent. That we cannot dictate to Krishna. That you always reveal yourself. We should go on praying. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is praying like that. That Nayanangalada Shrudharaya Vadarang Gadgada Rudhaya Gira Pulakaya Nichitang Vapukada Tava Nama Grahane Bhavishyati. When will that time come when I'm chanting that my eyes will constantly flow with tears, my voice will choke up, the hairs of my body will stand on end. But he also prays, Aslishyava Padaratang Pinashtu Mama Darshanam Marma Hatang Karotu Va Yata Tata Va Vidatha Tu Lampato Mat Prananatas Tu Saeva. Whether you embrace me, Krishna, or you don't reveal yourself to me, or even if you totally crush me, in all circumstances you're always my Lord. So we're praying to Krishna that you please engage me in your service, reveal yourself to me, bring me to you, but at the same time we can't demand from Krishna. Even Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, his perfect devotee, was sometimes complaining that I'm not getting the Naam Svurti, the name is not manifesting to me. Then out of disappointment he would go and drown himself in the river. Of course he didn't drown, but that was his feeling. Yeah, anything else? Yeah, give him the mic.
Why the chanting of Hare Krishna is said as a yajna?
Yajna means offering everything to Krishna. The essence of chanting is, Krishna, please engage me in your service. Offering ourselves to Krishna. This is the best yajna.
இதுதான் சிறந்த யஜ்ஞம்.
Some days I cannot finish my rounds. So next year at the Mangalati time I will finish the extra day rounds. These good things are bad.
Well, it's good that you feel it's bad. And it's good that you make it up. But it's better, as far as possible, to chant 16 rounds a day. It may be sometimes that we are very, very busy otherwise. In such a case, it's better to cut eating and sleeping rather than chanting. But even if we cut eating and sleeping and still we don't find time to chant, then we should make it up some other time. But it's best not to make a habit of it. It's not a good habit. If we think, I'll leave it for tomorrow, can't be bothered, then that's not very good.
Maharaj, people in Sri Sampradaya, generally they think there is no need to chant this Hare Krishna mantra. Whether without chanting also they can reach Vaikuntha. It is compulsory that they should also chant this Hare.
Well, they also chant names of Krishna. But whether you chant Hare Krishna or any other name, you have to be very serious to go to Krishna. Or to go to Vaikuntha. But definitely by chanting Hare Krishna, we get extra mercy from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that we can practically see. That people are able to take to Krishna consciousness in the modern age by chanting Hare Krishna. We have no business to criticize Vaishnavas in any sampradaya, but in general it can be seen that devotees who are not chanting Hare Krishna, they may be chanting Om Namo Narayana or whatever. In general, the level of enthusiasm and dedication is not on the same level, generally speaking. Whether or not we go to Vaikuntha or Golok Vrindavan, that ultimately depends on the mercy of the Lord. But He also reciprocates with His devotees' desire. So devotees who are very serious about chanting the holy names, then Krishna reciprocates with that. And if we're not very serious about chanting the holy names, then Krishna, He'll see that also. Yeah.
And while chanting, some preaching activities, something Krishna conscious activities will come to mind. It's correct.
While chanting.
Yeah, while chanting. So say in Tamil.
Tamil.
Well, as we're chanting to Krishna, please engage me in your service, it's not surprising if thoughts of service come to mind when we're chanting. What I do, I keep a pen and paper, any thought, good thought comes to my mind, I make a note. And then I have to come back to it later. Okay, that's a good idea. Alright, write it down. Short note. And go on chanting. And later you come back to that point. Hare Krishna. Ladies, any questions?
When I was reading the Bhagavad Gita today, it says that only Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the other demigods, Brahma, Lord Shiva and Narayana are not. So is Narayana and Lord Krishna not the same?
Said in Tamil. No, Narayana and Krishna are the same. But still, Krishna, even though they're the same, but they're different manifestations of the same Supreme Person. So, same, but some transcendental differences there also. For instance, we don't find Lord Narayana playing a flute, and there's no gopis stealing his flute either. So Krishna's pastimes are very sweet. So, in terms of sweetness, Krishna is supreme. In terms of power and opulence, there's no difference. But devotees of Krishna, they're more attracted to the sweetness of Krishna, and those who prefer to worship him as Narayana, they're more attracted to his opulence. It's a big subject. You please come regularly here and read Prabhupada's books, and you can gradually understand all these things. Hare Krishna. Another question? Is it about the class? Because otherwise,
it's about class.
There's millions of topics.
As you said to Prabhu, that when during class, there was a little class, when you do chanting, it's not right. It's not correct. But if you're going out in a place, and you are settling there, and they're taking the Bhagavad class in the local language. So, and we don't understand that language. So during that time if you do chanting, is it right or not?
Can you speak Tamil?
Not that much.
Okay. Where are you from?
From UP.
I see. This happens with you often? You're in a
I
class?
can understand what they are teaching.
So, then why ask the question?
Because my mother, she don't understand.
She doesn't understand. Then you can translate it for her.
But
Then
she's
she can
sitting on
understand.
the lady side.
Huh?
She's sitting on the lady side. And
Well, you're not that old that you can't sit next to your mother and translate it for her. That's a common system we have, that we have translations going on. So we'll finish. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama